Hello, everybody. I'm just testing this real quick before we get into this. Okay, I need to learn how to talk more clearly because I'm not talking very clearly right now. Yeah, me trying to talk clearly is not very clear. I think my voice is just fucked. Alright, guys. We got some lore to get into. It's been a little while since the last time I streamed. It's been a little while. Like over a week now? I apologize for the people who might be interested in watching these and are wanting a more consistent upload. There's not going to be a more consistent upload. I'm going to be streaming whenever I feel like it, and I don't always feel like streaming, but I do fully intend on getting through these fucking things. I want to do them anyway, and I don't mind streaming them while I do it. I officially have every single one of them. I don't know if last stream I also had all of them. I think I did. Whatever the case, this time I have all of them. Every single one of them. At least up to date. So, I believe. Let me actually like make sure. Yep, that is every single one. We came out of variators. We were reading through all the variator stuff. Or were we, or did we just read through a few of them? Did we read through any of them? I think we ran through Geister and Verses. We read through those two, and I think it was for time purposes. This time, I'm terrified. I just saw a thumbnail for "This is the most dystopian thing I've seen." I look forward to watching whatever that is. Cool. Anyway, Winter Kills. I don't think I've read this, basically. But these are all the events, all the modifiers, pretty much. So we got Cuban... did I read this? I know we've talked about Cuba. I remember this. Because they're reaching out to get budget for this, for the psychosis shit, Geister, which weaponizes nightmares. Winter Kills, though. Let's see what we got here. Dear Jameson, I was frankly a little surprised by your letter regarding our Cuban adventures. The products function as ordered, even if, admittedly, the incorrect targets were killed. This has always been as much art as science, and some degree of experimentation continues out into the field. Most importantly, none of the reagents or their activity has been linked in any way to Murkoff or the agency. I would not consider anything that happened in Cuba a failure, but rather a further trial. We honed techniques, we gained valuable data, and considering the exchange rate at a shockingly affordable price, notwithstanding human life. Warmly, A. Bradley Avallanos. Still don't know how to pronounce that. Cool. I like how he adds that little touch at the very end there to try to somewhat create a semblance of humanity in where he's coming from, but the reality is there is none. These are sick motherfuckers that are using people as tools. Snow in Cuba. This is the same year, but a few months later. Private correspondence between Jameson Lawler and A. Bradley Avallanos. December 2nd, 1959. Bradley. Gottlieb's anger at the results of our Cuban adventures continues to smolder. I believe his words were something to the effect of, "It'll be a cold fucking July in Havana before Murkoff sees another fucking dime of agency money. And yet, I have a 24... Jesus Christ. Hold on, give me a second. I'm like I'm exerting my voice too much and it's like really fucking me up. Okay. I have a 24-hour layover in Vegas 3 days from now and have some new analysis out of Langley I think you'll want to see. I believe snow may fall on Cuba. We should make hay while the sun's still shining. Oh, what the fuck? Is the implication snow may fall in Cuba? We should make hay while the sun's still shining. Does that mean I don't like? Is the implication there that they're going back to Cuba to maybe pick up where they left off to a degree? I don't know. I don't even know what the hell they were doing out there. I haven't gone to that part of the story yet. I'm sure they were doing something fucked up in Cuba. This is between Lawler and Avelinos. Lawler, it's coming. The beard getting on stage the same time Ike takes a bow. Goddamn disastrous. The boys in analysis call it an 80% chance of tipping off in the next 5 years. Avelinos whistles. Well, middle of nowhere, well below ground isn't the worst place to be. Lawler, honestly, I think I'd rather die up there than live down here. Avelinos, I guess that's the question, isn't it? How bad's it gotta get before you throw in the towel? Paper rustling. Lawler, and these just show a minimal strike. Avelinos, I've seen Fallout maps before. Lawler, these are aftermath maps from the point of impact of each bomb. Next day, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years. Avelinos, nobody thinks nuclear war won't be bad. Lawler, these numbers are radiation, but these are temperatures. Avelinos, you're kidding. Fahrenheit or Celsius? Lawler, that low? It doesn't matter. Depending on strikes in Europe, we lose the Gulf Stream, and with airborne particles, you're smiling. Continued. Avelinos, it's nice to see you. Lawler, that's not the kind of smile you're smiling. Wait, what? That's not the kind of smile you're smiling. Avelinos, you came here shopping. You need to prepare agents you can put in environments that'll kill them with cold. Lawler, who will still achieve their objective, even if they know they're going to freeze to death? Avelinos, agent survivability's never been key to our operation. Lawler, you put a proposal together. I think you could see Gottlieb feeling considerably friendlier to Murkoff contracts if you're capable of this. Avelinos, why wouldn't we be? Lawler, I mean, this kind of temperature change on this scale. Avelinos, Jameson, if there's anything your experience with Murkoff has taught you, I hope it's to trust our ability to deliver. Lawler, it's not cheap. Avelinos, that's how you know it'll work. Wow. So they're preparing agents to be able to survive extreme temperatures, not only for like the short term like battles that might take place, or like enemies that might be in the safety of the winter cold. Not only that, but also like a nuclear winter and being able to actually have capable fighters out there in those extreme conditions. It seems like they're thinking really long term about this. Unless I'm reading too far into it, it seems like that's what they're going for. I mean, you got to remember that these people are operating on like a global level. And the kind of technology that they're investing in, at least in their eyes, is capable of taking over the fucking planet completely. So they're making plans for like what the fuck they're going to do, how they're going to do it, why they're going to do it. Right? I guess Cuba seems to be like a testing grounds of some kind. Endless winter. This was a single day after this transaction. Between Scarfiotti and Avelinos. Scarfiotti's I don't think he's the chemist. I forgot what Scarfiotti was. Is he the... Oh, wait, isn't he he's the architect or whatever, the guy that's actually responsible for creating the thing, for like building this facility. Yeah. Oh, and Easterman's in here too. Scarfiotti. It could be built, and very quickly, humming sounds. Not cheaply. Avelinos. That's what I said. I think Jameson's giving us an in with agency. He likes what we're doing here. Humming sound continues. Scarfiati. If, or he's seeing something else he likes. Avelinos. Moses. Scarfiati. You don't see it? He sniffs around you like a hungry dog. Avelinos. I don't think agency policy would be affected by... ... One agent's personal peccadillos? I don't know that word. Uh-oh. Humming sounds continue. Peccadillo. What the fuck? I'm actually gonna look this up. I feel like I should. Peccadillos. Minor faults, petty offenses, or slight transgressions, often regarded as trivial or forgivable sins. One agent's personal peccadillos. Spanish speakers distinguish the peccadillo or little son for the more serious pecado. Oh wait, it's Spanish, so would it be pecadillo? Might be pecadillo. Is this a Spanish word? It is, I think. Yeah, it's just like a word to describe minor faults, petty offenses, slight transgressions. I've never heard of this fucking word before. It seems like it's... Okay, it's a little... I don't know. It seems like a little bit of a deep cut of a word. I don't know how many people would know that one. I'm getting hung up on it, though. I need to fucking move on. Jesus. What's going on right now? Scarfiati. Whatever gets us the money, what the fuck are you humming about, Hendrik? Easterman. Sorry? Scarfiati. You're humming. And you're rocking in your chair. It's making me crazy. Easterman. I think Winter Kills may be very fruitful. It addresses a deeply rooted and universal fear we have not yet fully explored in the trials. It's a giant blank spot in our tableau of cultural trauma, sudden mass-scale annihilation, followed by a grinding, endless winter of ever more pain. Are you sure the board will approve it? Avelinos. If it's bringing in money, the board will approve it. Easterman. We may need to recruit some reagents. Mortality rates will spike. Avelinos. That will not be a problem. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I think Easterman just straight up put it there. Like right there. Plain sight. Blank spot in the tableau of cultural trauma. Sudden mass-scale annihilation. Yeah, his goal is desensitization, so putting him in the conditions of like an apocalyptic kind of like constant cold, I can see that being a good form of desensitization, because that's like existential at that rate, right? You're desensitizing them to not only like the concepts of like violence or morality, but the concepts of like mortality. You're kind of stripping away any and all possible fears they might have to any kind of worldly concepts. That's creepy. I like that. Toxic shock. Gottlieb is uncomfortable. This is between Scarfiati and Gottlieb. Scarfiati, how's Alan? Gottlieb, Alan doesn't change. If the world's making him uncomfortable, he puts the impetus of change in the world. Scarfiati, very true, very true. You, however, you said you had a concern. Gottlieb, I did. In observing a trial, I heard something very disturbing. I heard my name, spoken by one of your experimental population. Scarfiati, it's not impossible. Gottlieb, I don't know how a patient here would be familiar with me. I avoid the public eye. Scarfiati, some very few our ex-pop is composed of former Murkoff staff. If they succumb to mental difficulties or become a security risk, waste not, want not. Gottlieb, very wise. It's just that with the project I hope to propose, I need a certain level of trust and discretion. Scarfiati, you know me, Sid. Gottlieb, and this is why we're talking. If I can say, Nobody can hear us here, right? Scarfiati, just you and me? Gottlieb, well, that's not fucking true. I have it. I'm reading your guys' shit, so other people are technically listening, even if it's not in, like, that time. I get an odd feeling about this Easterman fellow. He looks at me as if I'm going to pick his pocket, Scarfiati. Well, Easterman is an important paranoiac with a god complex. It's not that he's uncomfortable around you, Sidney. It's that he's chronically uncomfortable. Gottlieb. Still, the project I would like to propose may be somewhat uncomfortable in its own right. Scarfiati. Please, Sid. Uncomfortable might as well be Murkoff's trademark. Gottlieb. Does Unit 731 mean anything to you? Oh my fucking god. Gottlieb. Part of Paperclip. Fascinating material. There's a Japanese doctor I'd like to bring in. He has some very provocative notions. For those who know, or for those who don't know, Unit 731 was an operation in Japan during World War II where they got one of the most gifted chemists in history, Mr. What was his name? Shiro Ishii, I think. I think his name was Shiro Ishii. And they did some of the most horrific experiments in human history on people. Anyone they could get, it was literally like something akin to what this game is. Like literally, like they had these people in fucking facilities and they were running chemical tests on them constantly. They did some of the most vile shit on the planet. Like shit that I am uncomfortable talking about, and I don't get uncomfortable talking about a lot of stuff. So the fact that I think I already knew this part of the story, but yeah, for the chemical stuff, for the poison that they introduced into this game, the poison gas that I'm pretty sure there's a poison. Yeah, there's a poison gas. It's in a couple trials. That stuff was imported as part of the a Japanese scientist that I think he gets a name. I think he gets a name, and I think he does appear within some of these documents. I just can't remember what his name was. But we're probably going to learn in a second here. So we got chemicals in translation, 1 of 2. This is between Kusamura and translator. Japanese translator. Mr. Kusamura is curious if you have any of the Kusamura. Dihydrocodeine. That's not that hard to say. Is it dihydrocodeine or dehydrocodeine? I guess it'd be di. Would it be di? Dihydrogen codeine. I don't know. Translator. Dihydrocodeine. I've said that name too many times already. He would like to know if you have any of the drug that was in possession of Airman Göring when he was captured by the Allies. I don't know how to pronounce an umlaut. I'm sorry. I know what the name is for that thing. I don't know how to pronounce umlaut words though. Avelinos, I'm sure we could produce the type of methamphetamine Dr. Kusamura would want. Translator, Japanese. Kusamura, Japanese, and laughter. Translator, he feels like there is a spiritual element to the quality of a drug produced in the final years of Nazi Germany that could not be recreated in peacetime. In the final years of Nazi Germany, Avelinos, which part of that was funny? Translator, I don't know. Oh, I was missing. Yeah, Avelinos is in this too. I was just kind of missing where the hell he came in. There's just so many fucking. I don't know what it is about this specific structure in this transcript, but it kind of fucked me up a bit. I just straight up didn't process that Avelinos was in there initially. All right, next up, Avelinos. My voice is already getting strained. Jesus Christ. Of course, we could expect full disclosure of all chemicals used. Translator, Japanese, customer Japanese. Translator, we will provide a full accounting of all chemicals, but his intention is to amplify physical trauma through, I'm not sure of the word, forced dreaming, maybe? Imagined trauma. It's a difficult concept to Kusumura, Japanese and laughter. Translator. He finds inspiration in your German. He would like to drink with your German. He said the human body can be a factory to mass produce its own destruction. Avelinos. Sure. Him and Wernicke could drown puppies together. Don't translate that. Tell him I said, of course, at the earliest convenience. Laughter. Translator. This is difficult. I'm not sure I got the full context. He says maybe the lies of Korea will make a truth he could bring the rest of the world. I'm not certain. Maybe the lies of Korea will make a truth we could bring the rest of the world. Huh. It's creepy. Toxic shock approved. This was how much longer? Very shortly after. Yeah. Well, I guess once they got in contact with this this chemical doctor. The board has officially authorized the program code Toxic Shock. All test results can be internally reviewed and redacted before sharing with agency partners. All Toxic Shock trials will be under the authority of Dr. H. J. Easterman, with meaningful consultation of Dr. Jun Kusamura. All in-trial staff must be warned against presence in our proximity to trial environments during toxic shock events. Extremely dangerous gas in use. And then new friends. This is Baron Syke. I think Baron Syke was the CIA asset. I think he was their connection with like the government on like a federal level. It was I forgot exactly who. I know he's their in to one of the government agencies. You've seen the results of our toxic shock program. I was not consulted in the name. I would have offered notes. A Dr. Jun Kusamura lent to us from the agency was a key consultant in the project and has made multiple requests for an audience audience with Dr. Wernicke. We've had difficulty in translating with Dr. Kusamura. Either the words for spiritual or psychosomatic are interchangeable in Japanese, or the doctor is confused. In either case, he's proposing that the remarkable efficiency of placebos in toxic shock has provocative overlap with the work at Wernicke's Dream Lab. He'll be arriving in Los Alamos on Tuesday. Please make the necessary introductions, and I would advise extra security, both in Kusamura's immediate area and any objects, especially food and drink, he has had access to. Kusamura does tend to indulge his hobbies. Kusamura... I think he was like a permanent addition, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Right, now we got Prime Time. This is the event where multiple prime assets could appear like at the same time. The Opportunist, Easterman and Avelinos. Okay. Easterman, starting with Easterman. They can't pin the Cuban fiasco on Lathe. We can pivot. They got what they ordered. More than they ordered. The agency wanted targets eliminated and then get all nitpicky. Avelinos. Hendrick, slow down. Possible loss in crosstalk. Easterman. Maybe the wrong people got killed, but in sheer volume you can't argue we didn't deliver. Dr. Easterman. What? You're not solely beholden to agency funding. The board can unlock other accounts if we offer other opportunities, especially if those opportunities involve opiates? Easterman. Opiates. I don't believe there's any poppy fields in Cuba, Avelinos. But there are casinos in Cuba. American organized crime. Our contract in Havana are reporting that a mafia element may have been a participant in the activities. Our reagent was allegedly only responsible for one of the murders. Easterman. One? Avelinos. The other 7 may have been done by this opportunist. Wait. They're talking about Bambino. They're talking about fucking Bambino. This is how they came across this motherfucker. This is the lead up to Bambino. Lupa. Between Easterman and Avelinos. What the hell does that mean, an opportunist? Avelinos. Just that. We would have been in Cuba on casino business. We believe he's connected to organized crime out of Louisiana. Easterman. And you believe this gangster saw our reagent eliminating a target and what? Decided why not get in on the action? Avelinos. There's a certain avoidable chaos in violent situations. We're sending Clyde Perry down to investigate. Easterman. Does this gangster have a name? Avelinos. Undoubtedly. Our sources are Spanish speakers, and one of them lost a piece of his jaw in the incident. But they called him Lupara, or Lupa. Easterman. Lupa. That's Spanish for magnifying glass. Avelinos. Or Italian for wolf. Look at these nerds. Look at these nerds knowing words. This is between Easterman and junior staff. Easterman. I never trusted either of them, Gottlieb or Kusumura. Are we sure they're gone? Junior staff. Kusumura has been at Los Alamos at least a week. Easterman. We're not training reagents for trench warfare. What are we doing here? Silence. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Junior staff. Sorry? Easterman. Shouting eligible sounds of violence? Sorry, stop. Easterman. We are making thought leaders. We're engineering charisma. Fuck. Any goddamn idiot can pull a trigger. We're making martyrs and psychopomps. We're making the mold cavity of invisible world leadership. And you can't fucking do that with fucking gas. Junior staff. I'm bleeding. Easterman. Prime assets. Prime assets have always been the key. Dude, Easterman's a fucking psycho. Like, I knew Easterman was sick as fuck, right? Obviously, he's a sick, twisted man. This is crazy. He's in the middle of a conversation with a staff member, someone who's below him. And out of nowhere, after he comes up with this revelation, he just violently kills the fucking guy. He probably stabbed him or something. He just killed him. All while he's making this like speech about this revelation about like what the technology he's found is able to accomplish. Jesus. Family archetypes between Easterman and Avelinos. Easterman, it's science. People get hurt. Avelinos, not the observing scientists. Easterman, cry me a fucking river. Anybody here who doesn't understand our mission is too dangerous to be here. And my point stands. The tool post of our lathe is charisma. We have to focus on prime assets. Avelinos, you know me. We're bringing another one into the experiment. Easterman, yes. Something we must do with the utmost care. The reagent population needs to be prepared. Archetypes are architecture. In Gooseberry we have a mother. In Coil we have a father. Avelinos. So the groundwork is there. Easterman. Not quite. We need to bring them together. Together. In one trial. Avelinos. This is hideously irresponsible. Easterman. You're smiling. Avelinos. It would kill more reagents than it would train. Easterman. I've never seen you smile so brightly. Dude, these people are so sick. And my voice is getting very strained right now. I can just feel it. I'm going to get a sip of water real quick. Just hold up. La 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 la. It's not like much better, but at least I got some kind of hydration down my throat. The Prod in the Toaster. This is between Moses Scarfiotti and Cornelius Noakes. Mr. Noakes. Who the fuck is that? Mr. Noakes. You've only got one job, and it's to keep our reagents experimental special operation platform working. That means fixing them when they break. It also means upgrading them to withstand shifting conditions inside the trials. We've repeatedly seen Sergeant Coyle disabling toasters with his electric pod. We're trying to maintain a balance of trauma and opportunity inside the trials, and we can't do that if test subjects like Coyle are able to sabotage our machinery. Figure it out. You're no longer working for the military. Quote unquote good enough is not good enough. Let me remind you that this is the sort of organization where people don't get fired. Ooh. Ooh. I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's fucking awesome. God, I love fucking documents in this game so much. Project Primetime. Memorandum. The board has approved funding for Project Primetime, in which multiple Prime assets will be simultaneously released into the same trial. All staff will follow strict protocols for chemical and physical restraint of Prime assets in transport, before and after each trial. Cleanup staff have been doubled for the duration of the program, in anticipation of increased biohazard and human offal in environments. Expect violent paradoxical ideation in reagents subjected to multiple charismatic forces. Additional halothane will be made available for reagents needing rest, as lingering psychosis and parasomnia are anticipated. Cool. Primetime 2. This is very recent. This was last year. This was when the Crest Twins were coming out. Her handwriting. Scarfiati and Easterman and Avelinos. Scar, it's everywhere. Jesus Christ. It's even her handwriting. Easterman. They're emulating her. The therapy makes reagents vulnerable to charismatic influence, and they built Amelia into an imaginary psychopomp. Yeah, they're talking about Amelia. We'll get to her later. We're doing these in order of like their appearance on the thing, not in the order that they actually released. Because if I did that, I'd be all over the fucking place. So we're getting through these, in the order that I'm given. Maybe watching her piss herself on a wall for a few weeks might help correct that. Scarfiati. How do we stop the graffiti? It's going up faster than we clean it. Easterman. The reagents are hungering for godheads, for leadership. We need to give them more exposure to the Prime assets. In the short term, we can bring back Primetime. Scarfiati. Including Franco? Easterman. Of course. Scarfiati. Jesus. The environments. Easterman. Something breaks, something goes wrong. That's our art. Crisis is just potential. Thought leaders between Scarfiati and Easterman and Avelinos again. Scar, you're talking about in the trials, actually inside the trial environments. Easterman, of course. Scarfiati, it's absurd. It's too dangerous. Easterman, I'm bringing Kumasura back on site. He understands. And we'll have new data from our second primetime experiment. We can make it work. Avelinos. She taught herself Japanese. Did you know that? Just to talk to Kusamura. To have somebody to discuss chemical science with. Scarfiati. We couldn't guarantee control. The trial environment couldn't handle it. After what we just went through, you want to... Avelinos. We can sell this to the agency. Call it politics. We always said we could create politicians. Easterman. Thought leaders? Avelinos. Same thing. Alright, now we're at Communal Rebirth. I don't remember what the fuck this was. Stare down the sun. Private Journal of Easterman. I stared down the sun. I looked into the face of God and said, blink. And my reward is the mirror. I couldn't look... Oh my god, dude. This fucking guy. I can look in the mirror again. My new face. My opened eyes. Hairless, dead, and reborn. I have to die and be reborn if you want to teach your children to die and be reborn. Emil Schweizer had to put a bullet in his head before he could see the vision he reported to Jung. The sun he saw was an enormous cock, and its gift was wind. I look in the mirror and I see a sun with a cock. I'll burn you all from the surface of the world. I'll give you life to grow again. The Romans who worshipped Mithras were persecuted until they were driven underground with their studies, the ritual of initiation, their medicines, and the slaying of their bulls. I wonder if old Jung would look at what I have built in Signal and see the archetypes thriving. The mirror is sacred. God, this... Oh, Easterman, you crazy son of a bitch. I'm beginning to love Easterman a lot more. Like, as a character. What a fucking creep, dude. Wow, what a creep. Alright. Mirror image. This is another journal entry. First lines appear to be written as if under duress. Imagination. Or initiation. Is it? It might... I don't know what the fuck that is, actually. Several scratched up letters. Color of ink changes. God, what a sick fuck. I mean, he was truly insane. It's cartoonish. It does pull me out a little bit, because it's a little cartoonish that the main villain in this game is such a, like, nutcase. And he's somehow able to get this project together. He's somehow able to structure it in a way where it works. Like, they're getting money off of this thing, and it's being run by a fucking nutcase. This guy is, like, frantically writing just nonsense in his journals, dude. He's killing, like, staff. Just out of, like, impulse. Jesus Christ. Fascinating. I rested for 3 hours until the Cress MIVIM had cleared my system. Attempting to write with reversed vision proved comically difficult. The chicken scratch above is my attempt to write "I'm attempted" in block letters. Observing myself in the mirror under the influence of MIVIM was more rewarding. Reversed, the image of my reflection was more true than my real body. I could easily reverse reality itself, where my presence in the mirror was the true self, and this side of the glass was the reflection. It will make communal rebirth possible. We administer Cress formula mirror image visual morphia to reagents in sufficient doses to distance their minds and their physical bodies. A fellow reagent is no more than a figure in a glass, an intangible visual phenomenon. You can't feel them even if you can touch them, just lifeless glass. You can't smell their blood or their sweat. Scarfiotti says all of the security breaches have been sealed. The facility is safe again. Rebirth will commence. Yeah, this is when the rebirth mechanic came in, and when they were starting to renew no. This is when they were adding relapse, but they added rebirth. Like, they changed it to where in the multiplayer ones, the maps are completely mirrored. Like, just absolutely completely mirrored around. And it's, I'll be honest, it's pretty disorienting. Alright, Deep Burn. Drowning. Private Journal of Easterman. Is this after Communal Rebirth? It is. Oh boy. Oh boy, we're coming up to current shit. Damn. Who would tell the sun not to burn? They want to temper my children's very natural love for fire. Combustion is the driving force of the American century. This bureaucratic pussyfooting gives me Tosca. I don't know what that is. Tosca? I don't know what the fuck that is. I would have said once that I had a gift. I was born with a certain talent, a capacity for belief in something sublime. But I don't have a gift. I am a gift. I have been giving to a task. I am a slave to history. I can teach my children to love fire less. You can love a fine wine without being an alcoholic. I will not apologize to the sun. Water, symbolically, is both birth and death. I remember as a child my Sunday chore drowning glue-trapped mice. Again, this is like comical. I mean, the amount of evil that these characters are. I remember discovering my own body in the privacy of a warm bath. So my children blink out a tiny piece of the sun on the surface of the earth. With liquid sex and death, the therapy contains multitudes. God, dude. We got heading removed. Organization letter. The board has officially authorized the program code named Deepburn. All test results to be initially reviewed and redacted before sharing with agency partners, with an emphasis on efficacy. The so-called water being supplied to the reagents is non-potable, largely human and animal sourced, and any skin contact by staff should be followed with a decontaminating shower and full course of antibiotics. Liquid transport in all extra-trial environments must be in properly sealed containers to minimize odor. So the water that we use to put the fires out is non-potable, human and animal sourced. Ugh. Too many pyromaniacs. Abelinos and Lawler. Abba, you're pouting. Law, I don't pout. Av, come on. I've seen you with a bad taste in your mouth. What is it? Law, the arson thing is getting to be a problem. If we want to set indiscriminate fires, we'd use napalm. Av, you do use napalm all the time. This country makes more napalm than cheese whiz. Law, but it's not what we came to Murkoff for. We needed scalpels, dupes with precise operational guidance and zero operational context. Av, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Law, look, here, Kern County, Caracas, Tokyo. I got a half dozen more. Places your reagents had single targets they were ordered to take out with knives or poison, and instead they set fires. Half the time after the target's dead. Av, dead is dead. Law, that's not a scalpel. If this gets traced back to you, this could get traced back to the agency. We're the good guys here. We can't have this rolling back on us. God damn. CIA, yeah. Damn, dude. I think Lawler was the first guy. Let me actually read this. Yeah, Lawler was the guy that got Easterman into this shit to begin with. And he's over here claiming to be the good guy. Alright, sure. Revision therapy. Moses Scarfiati. We are pleased to report that work has been completed in biohazard waste disposal. All known exits have been sealed and trial-level surveillance installed throughout. The construction costs for erecting execution devices exceeds estimates by 40%. Due to the difficulty of delivery and working conditions, see attached budget report for details. Revision therapy. Heading removed. The board has authorized revision therapy to be operated under strict confidentiality. Test results are to be kept within the Senyala facility. Any inquiries from Mount Massive, Los Alamos, or agency partners should be reported to Dr. Easterman immediately. Revision concept. This was actually the first out of any of these. Private Journal of Easterman. Enough. I've let Amelia distract me for too long. She lingers in my reagents' imaginations, even after all we've done to demonstrate her helplessness. They imagine she will roll back to the stone of her tomb, etc. You can lead a pervert to therapy, but you can't make them change. They have to choose change. They have to change themselves. I cannot destroy Amelia for them. They have to destroy Amelia themselves. This is the most recent update. This is the escape game mode that they added. That's what that is. Yeah, the new escape mode has us killing Amelia ourselves. We are getting there, folks. I'm not sure if I want to read all these. I've been streaming for how long? 45 minutes? That's not that bad. But I'm straining my voice and I'm a little tired. And I finished that one and I really liked what I read. I guess instead of just, cutting it here, I'll talk about what we just read. So, obviously, these are kind of all over the place. Like, the most recent one we just read was like this year. 1961 in the game is 2026 in the real world. That's what that is. And so these are up to date. These are up to date. So, this is the most recent activity. This is the most recent shit. And the next thing that we're going to be reading is going right the fuck back to like about the launch time of the game. We're slipping on right back there. Now, interestingly enough, there still are a couple of documents that take place right now, which is cool. Human resources. Yeah, wow. So it looks like these first two are going to be the bulk of it. This is across them. There's 13 pages of shit to read. Although these do seem relatively short. They're not like transcripts, a whole lot of transcripts, it doesn't seem. These are mostly, okay, these are like letters. There's a couple of transcripts I'm seeing. Okay. Anyway, so, yeah, these are obviously skewed. They're all over the place. These are each covering the different events that have happened. I think Prime Time is one of the most interesting ones on a lower level. Because these are the times in the game before they introduced Invasion. These are the times in the game where I think like the overall corporation, all the people that are working on this project, were looking at Easterman going, what's going on up there, dude? How long are you going to like actually be able to sustain this thing when you're making decisions like this? When you're letting these prime assets like work within the same environments together? It is a very dangerous fucking proposition. It is incredibly dangerous. And the fact that they do it twice as well. What was verses? I think they're still adding on to the verses right here. Project Geister was the initial one. That's the one where they were using the psychoactive, who the fuck? There are people in my room. Why are there people in my room? I don't understand. I heard a bunch of footsteps and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And I turned that shit down and there's just a bunch of dudes staring at me. Hold on, let me get my dailies here. So, God, I am thoroughly enjoying these documents. I don't know why it took me 5 years to think of that word, but I'm enjoying them a lot. I really like this approach to storytelling. It doesn't shove the story down your throat. It is completely optional. And it's not necessarily hard to get access to. It feels rewarding. It feels a little rewarding because the game's designed to be like, oh, you're not supposed to know what's going on, but if you really work for it, you can figure it out. You just got to get all those damn documents. And the actual content's insanely good. Easterman's a much more interesting character to me now that I have more context about like who he is and what kind of decisions he makes. Like the fact that he's randomly killing his fellow workers, and the fact that the people working with him recognize that he is in fact a god complex psychopath, right? And yet they still choose to work with him because his insane ideas just so happen to work. And that's the case with a lot of these dudes. Like the Kusumura guy, he's a psychopath. They're all psychopaths. These scientist guys, these people who dedicated a substantial amount of their life to this craft or this this career, they're pure business, pretty much, and they're dedicated. They're dedicated and they're passionate, and they don't care about morality. They don't care about morality. Those things are not concepts to them. And I think this project broke that part of Easterman out fully. Because before, he was a married man. This was a guy who was married to a woman. And even that, he wasn't normal from the get-go, because they were explaining how he would kill mice when he was a child. So he's always been a bit of a fucking creep, right? But I think this project and these connections have allowed him to really go all out. And he can fully express who he truly is as a person. And that's why Amelia was so much of a threat to him. He had such a vendetta against her. And that's why it's not enough that he can't kill her, because that would be mercy. He has to destroy her in every conceivable way. On a conceptual level, he has to undo all of what she did, because she was the closest to ever, becoming a thing that would challenge him in this world he has created, in this godly world, this really demonic world, this evil world where he rules as a godlike figure. He was challenged. And he actually lost because plenty of reagents escaped. If you played during that event, the ending is that you fucking escape the facility. Now, I'm sure they probably sent out, agents to kill those agents, those failed reagents, right? But it's still a cool idea, and they slipped through the cracks. And for someone with a god complex like Easterman, it's got to really hit hard when someone slips through your cracks, because that means that you have a weakness. That means that you're not perfect. And when the whole point is that you're supposed to be perfect, when that's the point, decisions are going to be made. Decisions are going to be made to... where am I going with this? I'm getting lost. I'm losing myself because I'm tired, my voice is strained, and I'm talking about how much I'm fascinated by Easterman as a character, to the same degree that he's fascinated by some of the most disturbing shit ever. Right? Like, he's fascinated by the fact that Disney is capable of brainwashing people so clearly and blatantly on a commercial level. Right? Like, he's fascinated by that in, kind of a jealous way. Like, he looks up to it. He's like, I want to accomplish something like that. Easterman wants to be God, and he's gotten a taste of true power, of having true power over other people's lives, and the ability to construct these scenarios, but he's losing it more and more. And the people around him are noticing that, and I can absolutely see him becoming a prime asset. I can absolutely see him becoming a prime asset, completely. It would be really sick if he ends up being the last one, or one of the last ones. What an interesting character he is. Just a complete psychopath who's been twisted by this system. He's as much of an experiment as anybody else. And I think it would make sense for him to become a prime asset too, because as they've brought up multiple times throughout these documents, it's better to waste not, want not, right? Waste not, want not. So if Easterman is a failure, if Easterman ends up getting fired, or his addition to the equation gets mitigated, it's not like they're going to completely remove him they're going to use him the same way that he would use staff that flew too close to the sun. You know what I mean? I think it would only make symbolic sense that he become a direct test subject within this one, and he'd be the perfect prime asset too. He'd be the perfect prime asset because he's already charismatic through his like forceful kind of god elements. Like most of the endings in the game, most reagents that get released, they get released as agents that end up having Easterman become like their god of sorts, and they do whatever the fuck he tells them to do as long as he whispers those code words. And it triggers that part of him that's in worship of him, that's in unquestionable worship of the only God that was ever there for them, the only entity that was ever like properly guiding their life in some kind of direction. The person that put uncountable amounts of resources into creating a system in which he's able to create zombies, people who don't have minds of their own. I love this game, and I'm done ranting about it. We're going to dig deeper into this next time. But for the time being, thanks to anybody who has watched this, and I hope you have a good day, or as I say every fucking time, a night, or whatever the fuck it is. I don't care, just have a good one.